All right, Internet, you're going to have to explain this to me. So nobody wants to believe that over here at the Den of Nerds, the people we follow are onto stuff. And so when we report about Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil, it doesn't matter. But you're telling me an awkward pause by Kevin Feige when asked a question convinces everybody? What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Welcome back to the channel. Smash that like button. And I do want to remind everybody that a huge part of what we are doing with the Den of Nerds is taking place over on our live streaming channel. Oh, yes, and we have to talk about the most recent news about Charlie Cox as Daredevil and really all of the Netflix characters that now the internet is waking up to the reality are likely to be coming in to the MCU. And this all stems from an interview that Kevin Feige did with Collider in which he was asked directly about Charlie Cox being involved in the MCU, and he gave a super awkward pause. Now, let's talk about something else. Before he was asked this question, to which he just gave the awkward silence and smiled to, literally that's all he did, he actually was asked a different question, and he was asked, is there any chance that Charlie Cox could be back as Daredevil, or do you consider what happened with the Netflix almost like an alternate universe? And Feige goes on to say this: I look at anything that's happened before, whether it's our movies, whether it's Marvel Entertainment, TV series in particular, obviously the comics, video games, cartoon, all of it is available as inspiration for the future of Marvel. That's the way the comics have worked for many years, so we'll see. But then he's asked point blank, I think a lot of people really love Charlie in that role and are hopeful that he can find a way back. And he literally wouldn't say anything and just smiled and gave that sort of awkward, stare. And again, I just can't believe that the awkward pause and the way he answered that is what is convincing people that that's what's going to happen. However, of course, we had talked about this before because this was reported by one Charles Murphy over at murphysmultiverse.com. And as I've said many, many times, guys, Charles Murphy is one of the best scoopers in the game. His sources are super solid. I think he actually knows way more than he's even telling us on the website, but he gives us a lot of cool information. And this was a huge scoop for Charles Murphy. It made serious waves, and a lot of good insiders and scoopers sort of gave the nod to that rumor, saying that, yeah, it seems like that is very much going to be the case. We actually have even more information about the possibility of Netflix characters, but I'll get to that in just a second because I also want to admit that this was something I got way wrong. All throughout 2020, this was something that I had repeatedly said I really didn't think would happen. And the biggest reason I didn't think this was possible was because of Netflix being one of the biggest competitors to Disney, with Disney Plus specifically. And so Charlie Cox as Daredevil represents Marvel IP that I don't think Disney's ever going to get back from Netflix, and it's just going to live on Netflix forever. And that gives some ammunition and fuel to Netflix. And if you bring Charlie Cox into the MCU, it's just inevitably going to raise the value of that content that will always be on Netflix. And by the way, I still totally feel this way. Like, that's the way I feel about it from the business perspective, but clearly Feige feels that it's just better to give the fans what they want, and that the excitement of that, or how he's going to do it, will sort of outweigh the potential loss, or I guess benefit he's giving to the enemy, being Netflix and the Netflix Marvel shows. This also has massive implications to all of the crazy stuff we have been talking about with regards to the multiverse, characters coming in, crazy Elseworld versions of characters. The possibility for Marvel are about to get really, really wild. And so it really does open up the doors for a lot of different things. Now, as best as we know, according to all the scoopers and insiders out there are several other characters that seem to be on the table. Kristen Ritter is going to likely be in She-Hulk with Charlie Cox, and she will be the Jessica Jones character. John Bernthal's Punisher seems to be a question mark, but a lot of people feel as though that would be one of the characters Feige would want to bring back, but who knows exactly, and there's not a lot of sound evidence that he is coming back anytime soon, but it seems like that is a character that's on the table. Vincent D'Onofrio, Wilson Fisk seems to be a character that will show up in Marvel at some point. Heavily rumored, a lot of smoke there, nothing confirmed, but it feels like that's one of the characters Feige would bring over, and some people have said that they have heard rumblings of such things. And then, of course, you have Charlie Cox as Daredevil himself, all but confirmed by Feige's awkward answer today. It is apparently rumored that he will be in She-Hulk and also in Spider-Man 3, which is really, really cool. We'll see how much he'll be in Spider-Man 3. Pretty interesting and exciting stuff there. But as far as the rest of the characters from the Netflix shows and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, it seems like not a lot of evidence to suggest any of them are coming over. So no Iron Fist, no Luke Cage, at least not the actors that played them over on Netflix. Now, who knows how much these characters are going to be utilized, whether or not we'll get a Daredevil show or something like that. But I think Disney is clearly focused on giving us as much dope Marvel content as they possibly can. I mean, it seems like they have a never-ending string of Marvel content that they could be releasing. And as a Marvel fan, like, I am totally here for it. I mean, Charlie Cox's Daredevil is great. And the one thing I'll say is I'm actually really excited to see his potential Daredevil suit in the MCU, because although I liked what they did in the Netflix Daredevil show, and it sort of works for that grungy street level kind of Marvel Max thing, I want to see a more clean, more polished version of Daredevil. Think about what Captain America was like when we see him in Winter Soldier, right? So when we see him in the first movie, he's clumsy, he's not super well trained. When we see him in Winter Soldier, he's like Wetworks Ninja Cap, like just doing crazy stuff. I would really like to see a version of Daredevil like that in the MCU, and have him, you know, hanging out with Spider-Man and stuff too would be dope as well. The bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, is that crazy things are coming for the MCU. This rumor with Charlie Cox returning as Daredevil in the MCU is all but confirmed by Kevin Feige himself, and there's a lot of hints that other crazy things from the Netflix shows are coming to the MCU as well. Let us know what you think about that, and stay tuned to this channel, subscribe to this channel, check out the live streaming channel for all of our streaming content. 2021 and beyond is going to be crazy for all kinds of nerdy properties. If you like nerding out with us, check out the stuff. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.